Yes, ma'am.
Om
Sumitriyana
Sumitriyana
apa
Ausha
santu
Durmitraya Tasmai
Durmitriyastasmai
Santu
santu
Yo
yo
asman
asman dveshti yam chavayam dvishmah
Om Shanti
Shanti
Shanti.
Shanti Shanti.
Okay, so any problems from last time?
So
Namaste, Uttaraji.
Namaste, Mala. Namaste.
hello.
So we have finished the chanting, and Prashanti is also here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just that much. Sorry about that. So
No. It just took 2 minutes to take me in. So it's okay. It's completely fine. No issues.
okay. So any issues from last time?
So why does it say that for the attached the world is created? The world is there anyway, no? I mean, if you become Jivan Mukt, maybe it will not interest you. But isn't it physically there? Because I'm getting confused on
No,
that
it means
point.
we have to take it as it births us. We are born into this world. It always says that the world doesn't exist only for one of us, but for all of us. But we get attached to the birth through birth to the earth. That's what I understood.
Okay.
What
Is
exactly
that
is
what?
the confusion, Vidya?
That why I mean there are some places where it says that the world ceases to exist for us. Now this one is saying the world is created for people who are attached. So I'm just wondering, is there a situation that tomorrow if I become Jivan Mukh, this world will not exist for me, or will it cease to interest me? That's what I mean. I'm
It will
looking at that option.
cease to interest you. It will
Okay.
cease to
So
interest you. It will
so I am not going to react.
You could react, but whenever you feel like it. So you would not be very much entangled in the world the way we
Actually,
are.
I would like I don't like the word saying cease to interest me. I would like to take it as the entanglement is better. We don't get affected by it, but ceases to interest me is different, because yogis exist to help others to some extent. So I don't think it ceases to interest them. It doesn't touch them anymore.
Okay. It will not make me involved in it if I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Isn't
this is a different way of putting it, that it basically the world exists for those who are attached to it. That does not mean that it does not exist for the people who are Jivan Mukh, but it just is a different way of putting that it is moving, going around for those people. For these people now, it really doesn't matter. Okay, Mala, you wanted to ask something?
no. I wanted to say what you said. Ki it is more a detachment case. Whether it ceases to exist, it continues to exist. But for the person per se, it is kind of, it's not existent for him. He's detached mostly. That is what I
So
was thinking.
that is what I think, Vidya, had the confusion. Just be clear that it's not as if the world will disappear for that person. The world will continue to exist, but this person now is not really affected by that word.
Okay.
As had been said in one of the sutras earlier, you might recall, it was that it is like people have come to the theater to watch the dance of a dancer, and now this person has become detached. So even though the dance continues, it is as if this person has moved out of the hall.
Okay.
Yeah, so that person can enter the hall and see it at any time, but actually that dance is not of any relevance to that person anymore. He's just
Actually,
continuing to
Uttaraji, this happens every time in everybody's lifetime. There comes a point that you are just not interested in that. It could be for a small period of time, like maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not like as small as like 2-3 days or 2-3 months. That detachment period is quite some time for you to understand ki that is the real detachment you're going. You are just not interested. People buy, keep buying, you are okay, let them buy. It doesn't even fail to attract you. So that is also detachment,
But
right? I mean, the world
Mala, the thing is, there are two ways of having that kind of vairagya. One is kind of incorrect angle of getting to the disinterest. Another, the way we get detachment due to proper placing ourselves in a higher realm is different from the normal dejection we get for certain objects.
No, I completely understand, but I'm saying to understand what it is, understand what Vidya's question and what it was related to. I am saying this is a smaller example of getting detached, maybe for some time in your life, 1 year, 2 years, and that is there. That
But
too
it
is
is
a
not
complete
total. It is not
detachment.
total. The total detachment that you get from Mukti Avastha is what is
Vivek,
being
yeah,
described
yeah.
here.
So,
I quite understand that, because see, our detachment maybe now I'm not interested in seeing TV. Okay, for the next 6 months I didn't see TV, but my interest actually must be in something else. So it's not that my mind has stopped. My mind is still going on, but only thing, it is changing its path. And
Correct.
some of them, like we said, might be good.
Yes.
Some of them might be also in the pursuit of knowledge, but I cannot say I'm completely detached from the happenings around me, or it is not involving me. Correct? Yeah. So I quite understand that part.
Like even a
Yeah,
detached person becomes completely detached from the world. No? So that detachment is not a positive detachment. That is a negative detachment actually. So like that, these detachments which we go through from time to time are not the ones that are being discussed here. What we are
I like the definition, and disentanglement is very nice. And also your current description of positive versus negative detachment is a very, very beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah, Uttaraji, that kind of, that depression example kind of cleared the doubts. There is something kind of negative detachment also.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I think last class you had explained now, Uttara, when I asked you that this Jivan Mukt, even though he is given payasam, he may not taste it.
Yes.
He still get the payasam, but the taste doesn't make any difference to him.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
But if asked, he will always say, "Huh, that was nice."
that is just politeness.
Yeah.
But he will never proffer. He will never proffer that appreciation because he knows better.
Yeah. Correct. So in fact, so when we are offering, see again, it is the same thing what I sent to you guys on WhatsApp, that we are offering what we like. Okay, so because we like Python, therefore we are offering it to him. So he is also accepting it, that okay, you are giving with bhakti, therefore I am accepting it. Same thing we do with God. We offer flowers and some agarbatti we will light and do put some diya and all. That is our own desire to see that diya lighted and to smell the agarbatti. It's actually not making any difference to God.
Yes.
Okay.
True.
So let's do a recap. Nanyopasavarpane api muktopabhogo nimitta bhavat. That is the 44th sutra. Who wants to take it up?
Actually, just about what we discussed, I guess.
Yes.
Despite so Jivan Mukta's state is being described here.
Yeah.
Despite him attaining that state of mukti, he due to the absence of the aviveka in him, which is the nimitta bhava, he no more actually, you can say, is a bhogi in a sense.
Correct. So see, here this point which I'm trying to tell you is very clearly stated here, that the only the upabhog is deleted. So he will see the view, he will understand that, okay, there is a boulder in my path or whatever, and he will shift around and walk past it. So it's not as if the scene disappears. The scene continues to exist, but the association of good and bad which we do, that is the only thing which is removed.
Which means
The-
now he will only do and say meaningful things.
Yes, correct, correct. Okay, पुरुष बहुत्वम बहुत्वम व्यवस्थातः. This is easy.
Yeah.
Can I try this?
Yes, sure.
Okay, I'll just, I've put it down in points, so just see if I've understood, please.
Hmm.
Yeah, because different entities experience the Prakriti differently,
Mhm.
it is clear that there are many souls in the system.
Hmm.
And in verse 114, it said that each being is a different soul because things like birth, death, joy, grief, everything is different for different souls.
Hmm.
And this theory disproves the Advaitvada theory,
Hmm.
which says that everything is Brahma, that is the creator, the animate, the inanimate, everything is Brahman.
Yeah, don't explain that now. That explanation will come later in the next few.
And each character, that is each entity, is unique because their awareness, that is our consciousness, is distinct.
Yes. Correct.
And the awareness is the aham that is put on the body. So each one is different. So
Yeah. Partially that is the aham which is put in the body, but not fully. So your general awareness is your own, but the rag and dvesh attachment, or the wrong things which we perceive, for example, that the body is ours, that major misconception which we have, these are the things which are appearing because of ahankar.
okay.
But
And the main
otherwise,
characteristic,
your main ability to perceive things is your own. So you can feel this little bit if you sit in meditation. Then you will find that when you are with yourself alone, then you actually don't have any positive, negative feelings. You don't feel your body. So that experiencing is there. But the negative, positive vibrations which you get from everything, those will all go away.
okay.
Okay, shall we move to the next one? Upadhischet tatsiddha punardvaitam.
Yeah, may I?
Yes.
So if we actually say that there are not multiple souls and there is only one soul that is actually looking through different like glasses, or or experiencing different things, then again we will need an upadhi. You will need a demarcation between the different souls. So I mean, that is what this one is saying, that assuming that we take that, then we are anyway bringing in a second item by saying that there will be a demarcation. So there is no question of saying that there is only one thing. I mean, there is just one soul.
Yeah. So dvabhyamapi pramana virodhaha. Prashanti, you want to take it up? Prashanti.
Actually, her microphone is not showing, so I don't know what is the problem.
It is showing actually in mine. I think she's having some issues. Okay. Anybody else? Dvabhyamapi pramana virodhaha.
Basically, here, if we from what I understand, whether the argument is that all the souls are actually manifestations of the so-called pure Paramatma Purusha, Parama Purusha, or whether we call them as some deviant subset of that, it's still both of them are not having proofs in how we feel, how we experience it in this world. Our experience does tell us that there is a clear difference, demarcation between individual
That is
souls.
from the
So,
next one actually. This one is one before. This
oh,
Dwabhyam is different from the next Dwabhyam. So anybody else wants to take it up?
Yeah. Shall I try?
Yeah, yeah.
Here, Kapila says that, okay, if you are saying that they are the same consciousness within everybody, in that case, they should have the same awareness and the same attainments, like you showed your hand, right? So each one, I mean, the whole, they all have to attain it together, like all have to be the same in joy and grief.
Yeah, yeah.
And the consciousness does not share with others, so it cannot be one consciousness. Like my consciousness is not yours, so it cannot be that it is the same Brahman in each person.
So this is what you have explained is the Pramana Virodha. Dvabhyam api is continuing from the previous one, that is Punardvaitam. So he's saying even if we take that Dvaita, that means a single consciousness, and then this other entity which is providing the Upadhis. So even if we take that okay, this Upadhi is providing a kind of a superficial differentiation in that single consciousness, then also there is a Pramana Virodha which you have just told. This is the Virodha with the Pramana, which does not allow for even a superficial differentiation, assuming a different object being there. To differentiate, different hats being put on different parts of the consciousness.
Okay.
Okay. Dvabhyamapya virodhanna purvamuttaram cha sadhaka bhavat. This partially Anuj had given.
Said.
So remaining is basically purvamuttaram cha sadhaka bhavat. Prashanti, are you back online or no? Prashanti is having audio problems. So difficulty here.
Neither theory has a proof. Is that?
Yes. Which two theories?
The Advaitavada or the Dvaitavada.
Exactly. So neither of them api avirodhat na purvam uttaram cha sadhaka bhavat. So both of them cannot be proven. They don't have a positive proof, either of them. And of course, there are many other than Shabda Praman, all these other Pramanas which Kapil has listed, these are anyway there. I need to. Okay. So next one, Prakashatas tat siddho karma kartri virodha.
So, can I try this one?
Please.
So, if you say that, the soul itself is, superimposing or creating different imageries, then it will become as though the soul itself is the doer as well as the deed, both, like a karta and karma. So, I mean, that is again a conflict between, what is the karta and what is the karma. And I mean, both will be rolled into one only, because you're finally talking about the soul only.
Correct.
One single soul.
Yes. Is that clear? Is the
With a little caveat there, because see, for example, the very path that Kapila himself is telling about moksha then is contradicted by this statement, because we have to use our own tarka, though we get the help of gurus and vachanas of these rishis, etc. We still, everybody even propounds that you have to do the self-realization, nobody else can do it for you. That means we have to illumine ourselves towards what is our pure reality. If that contradiction is applicable there, why take the contradiction of karta karma for the creation?
So
is the
no,
question.
no, no. That is not the same illumination which is being talked about here. That illumination is actually shutting off the illumination of the body. So actually, to see yourself, where you don't actually illumine yourself, you just experience yourself. So it is not possible for you to throw a torch on yourself. All you are doing through this meditation, etc., is that you are cutting off your connection with the body, which normally is taking up all your conscious energy. And so because of that, you are not being able to perceive your inner self. Your perception is always dragged to the outside world. So these are just telling you, shut off all your senses, shut off your mind, and then sit in meditation. So that is actually more of shutting off the illumination which you are doing of other things at all times. Then when you shut off, then you perceive yourself. You don't actually throw a light on yourself. That is not possible. You will not see yourself as a third party. You will see yourself as you are.
Okay.
So jadavyavritte jadavyavritto jadam prakashayati chidrupaha. This is approximately what I explained just now. That the jada sharira is illuminated by the soul.
Basically, Paramatma to Prakriti. Yeah.
Paramatma to Prakriti?
Because Chidrupaha, how do you take it?
Chit is the consciousness of the individual soul.
Okay.
So that is illuminating this jada body, which is different from this Chidarupa, is different from this Sharira.
Oh yeah, it is giving the kind of life force to this jada body. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Na shruti virodho raginam vairagyaya tatsiddhe. This also we covered partially with Sri's question. Okay, is that clear? This one?
Yeah.
Prashanti, you want to take it? Are you online?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
I've logged in again.
Yeah. Now we can hear you. You want to take this up quickly?
I can try.
Yeah.
So, the liberation being the final goal of the soul, the creation is made again for the liberation of the soul itself. Like how in Yoga Darshanam also Patanjali says that this whole creation is made for soul to be liberated.
So what is the Shruti Virodha? What is the Shruti?
So,
anybody else?
Actually, it should be read as Na Shruti Virodha, right?
Yeah. So, what is that Shruti Virodha which is being said? There is no Shruti Virodha, which is being contradicted here.
Yeah, that probably I'm not able to explain, but
anybody else wants to take it up? Okay, so
it's basically if you we're all attached, and if we strive and reach the vairagya or become this, so for this process only the whole world is there for us. I mean, this is where it comes that once you have reached that vairagya state of being mukt, then this world will not entangle you any longer.
Hmm.
So, I mean, so this is the reason. I mean, it's not against it to say that this is the reason for the whole creation, that anybody who's attached will have to, achieve this moksha. And he will have this, with the help of this whole process only, he'll be able to achieve moksha.
So that doesn't explain actually Shruti Virodha. So I will tell you what is the Shruti Virodha which he is saying it does not exist.
Can I try this?
Definitely. Please.
I think the two contradictions are, one is that you're saying the soul is lighting up your inanimate body. And then you are saying that the soul comes to light up your body and all the bhog is there, and then again renounce the whole thing to achieve moksha.
Yes.
So why go through this at all?
Correct.
So the soul has to engage with the matter and then renounce it to realize God.
Correct. Exactly. So there is what I call an affinity of the soul towards matter as well. So this provides you a platform by which you remove that or reduce that affinity. Tanukarana, if you remember, from Yoga Darshanam. So you keep bringing down your affinity, keep increasing your vairagya towards this material world, till finally you are now ready in a position to associate with God. Okay, work on that affinity, increase your affinity with God. Okay, so now you can please mute yourselves. I will now start with the main class. Jagat
Is this bird, sorry to disturb, is the bird sound from your house?
No, I think it is Srividya's.
So beautiful it is. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Jagat Satyatvam Adushta Karana Janyatvat Badhaka Bhavat. So here he says something which he had said again in the first chapter under this 144, if you recall. Did you guys revise those sutras which I told you to revise from the first chapter?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
You are becoming a model student, I notice.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so what Kapil brings back, this point to kind of drive home the point that this Jagat is not asatya or asat. Never get into this doubt in your mind that this whole world is an illusion, a delusion, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so he says Jagat Satyatvam, this world is real because it is born out of adushta karana. That means by dushta, it is not to be understood somebody who is bad, but something which does not have a flaw. So the upadana karana of this jagat is without a flaw. This flaw that is being talked about here mainly is actually gaps in that upadan karan, or the upadan karan behaving differently under at different times. So this upadan karan is so fantastic, which makes up this universe, that it is completely uniform. Uniform in the sense it doesn't have a gap. There is nowhere where you will hit the end of the universe and discover, oh, in this section of the universe there is no universe. So there is no gap, no tear in this world, and it never happens that one day the milk boils and the other day you keep heating it and it doesn't boil. Okay, I mean, you can say it gets converted into paneer. That is a different thing, but things continue to behave the way they are supposed to behave. All the time they behave in the same fashion. Then badhaka bhavat, before we run out of time. also there is no badhak for this. There is nothing which can destroy it. So just like in a dream state, you wake up and the world, your dream world suddenly disappears. So you would presume that such a situation would occur for a delusionary state. So you will suddenly wake up and this whole world would not be there. Maybe another world will be there, maybe no other world will be there. So we have never seen this happening, that for anybody this world disappears. Even when we are talking of Jivan Mukt, we are saying that that world actually continues to exist. The only thing is that this person's association with the world has changed now. So these are very, very important reasons to understand that this never should you fall into this trap of thinking that this Jagat is a delusion. I hope that all of you are satisfied with that understanding now. I know it is very difficult to accept it with old beliefs, but this is like Anuj says, for common persons, when somebody is saying something, it is for the lay person, it can be said that the earth is flat, but when a scientist is looking at whether a earth is flat or round, you have to go into the details and you have to come to a conclusion. So I was just thinking an example for you guys. For the common person, salt is salt and you add it and you can taste it then in your vegetable or whatever. So that person is not concerned, but a scientist has to look into that salt is made of sodium and chlorine, how they gain or lose electrons, how they come together, form this structure. So that is what we are doing at this point. So we cannot be satisfied by saying that, okay, at a broad level, this is what it is. Because if we were satisfied with that, we would not be studying Sankhya, obviously. So we are trying to arrive at the very truth of the matter, that is there a single consciousness or are there many souls? Is this world a delusion or is this a real world? So Kapil has given you all these different explanations, and this is a clincher that this adushta karana is there. Nowhere do you find that something which is supposed to behave in some way, on one fine day it stops behaving that way, and also that one day everything just disappears. There is some badhak for this world.
So here the upadhan karana is the matter. Pradhana is what we are talking about when you said upadhan.
Yes. When you say adushta karana, that karana which we are talking about is the upadana karana.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us do one thing. We'll close this meeting and please rejoin the next one. I will start. Okay.